Hello guys, and welcome back to a different video, but also a highly requested video. Today we're going to talk about some of my camera gear, more specifically my action cameras. There is a whole lot to choose from out there. In the past year I've been using the DJI Osmo Action 3, and with the help of DJI Europe I've now had the chance to try the DJI Osmo Action 4. We're going to go through all my settings, my whole setup in general, where I put them on the bike. We're going to go through my setup on my helmet, my audio system, my favorite features about this, and just in general why, in my opinion, this is probably the best option for motovlogging out there. So if you're interested to hear about that, stay tuned and let's dive into it. First thing first, there's more than just cool fancy features and settings that are kind of important when you get a camera. Price is also a major thing to take into consideration. The DJI Osmo Action 4 in Norway comes in at about 340 euro, compared to the GoPro Hero 12 cost more than 100 euros extra, and the other option, the Insta360 Ace, cost about 500 euros. Those are the cameras alone. If you choose to get the adventure package with this one, which is what I have, that's about 450 euros. So still, with the whole adventure combo, this is a cheaper option than the others. When it comes to my physical camera setup, I have one camera on my helmet and one mounted on my bike that films towards me and the background. I've recently been using the Django mount. That's just like a clip that goes on like this, and then my camera on here. Having two cameras filming from different angles both make sure that I'm able to capture things from different angles, and that I don't miss out on any shots that I would want to include. And also just makes my videos a little bit more dynamic, so you can switch up between the shots. If I were to have just one camera capturing from one angle on my entire trip, it could just quickly become a little bit boring, wouldn't it? One of the things that makes the DJI Osmo Action 4, oh, that's a mouthful, stand out a bit from their competitors has to be the superior image quality. It offers 4K like any other cameras, up to 120 frames per second, but what makes it unique is that this camera now offers 10-bit recording in both HEVC and D-Log. 8-bit is the normal standard that most other cameras offer. That gives you a combination of about 6.8 million colors, whereas with 10-bit you get over 1 billion color combinations, which is just... They previously only offered that when you're recording in D-Log. D-Log straight out of the camera looks pretty gray and flat and boring, but it gives you the ability to really customize the look of your footage in post-production, whereas HEVC, you already have very lifelike images straight out of the camera. All right, let's go through the settings that I use on these cameras. You can adjust them a lot. So I run my cameras at 4K, 16:9. I shoot at 25 frames per second. I very rarely slow down my footage in post-editing, so I don't really need all those extra frames. I shoot in HEVC. I have enabled Ace Priority in low light. I have enabled low light image enhancement. I have Rocksteady on and wide angle. The one on my motorcycle I have in ultra wide. I prefer using automatic settings for most things, all things. Actually, it just makes it a whole lot easier. You don't have to think about stopping and adjusting things throughout the day when the light shifts and all that. I am trying to get better though at exploring different modes, different features, different settings, because of course I would like to have the best video quality as possible. Another really important feature to take into consideration when you're choosing your next camera is of course battery life, for several reasons. First of all, when you're out there recording, you don't want to always worry and be concerned about if the camera is about to die. You don't want to have to stop every single hour to change the battery. And one of the biggest one is not always that easy to keep things charged when you're on the road and you're relying on charging things on a bike or just stopping somewhere every other day to recharge your gear. So having good battery life is just... And the DJI Osmo Action 4 has the biggest battery of all its competitors. If you really need like one recording with long battery life, you can put your settings to 1080 and 24 frames per second and you'll be able to record for 160 minutes. Yeah, pretty impressive. I did a test to see how long the camera with fully charged battery would actually record with my settings. So let's see how that went. Not too bad, right? I can, in most occasions, make it through the whole day with just 2 batteries. The batteries also support fast charging. Like I said, I have the Adventure combo, so I have them in this charging case, which I usually have either attached to a power bank or just charging on my bike. More than that, in case of emergency, this thing can be used as a power bank on its own. Let's say you're in the middle of nowhere, your phone or whatever have run out of battery. You take your battery case, push the button, boom. It's not the case itself, it's drawing battery from the camera batteries. Just a cool feature that could come in handy. The cameras are supposed to be freeze resistant down to -20 Celsius and waterproof down to 18 meters. Not that I would ever need that, but hey, occasionally I get caught up in some pretty heavy rain, so it's nice to know that it's capable. I was actually able to put my Osmo Action 3 through a proper freezing test, as I brought this camera for a winter riding weekend in January, where the temperatures were about -30 Celsius, and we were riding in those temperatures, which bring the wind chill down to probably like almost -50, and they functioned the whole weekend, no problem. Even the battery lives were still good on these. I have confidence that these will be just as good. I do not record my whole full day. I use a feature called Snapshot. 0.3 seconds from you press the button to it starts recording, which is a lot faster than its competitor. I think GoPro takes 3 seconds to start up, and Insta360 Ace takes 2 seconds from what I've read. Whenever there's something going on that I want to capture, I just push the button and record that part. Otherwise, I would have way too much footage to go through to make my videos. It's already taken me like 15 hours to edit one video. If I were to have like 8 to 10 hours of footage from each day, I don't even want to think about it. The next feature is a big and very important one, which is image stabilization. Every now and then I like to take my bike out on some little bit more uneven off-road tracks where there's a lot of humping and bumping and everything flying around. And I need my cameras to be able to record somewhat alright footage still. The image stabilization on the Osmo Action is called Rock Solid. They have 2 different ones, Rock Solid and Rock Solid Plus. So here are some examples of the image stabilization off, on, and with the Rock Solid Plus. The camera also offers the widest wide angle out of all the cameras available with 155 degrees. And they have made improvements on the new camera so that it's less distorted, like it looks less weird. All right, let's continue. Low light performance. I rarely find myself riding that early at dusk or dawn that is still dark outside, but it happens. And when it happens, I would like to capture the footage with somewhat alright image quality. One of the complaints that I've seen the Osmo Action 3 get was that the low light performance wasn't that good. That has been majorly improved. The sensor alone on this camera is 65% bigger than the Osmo Action 3. And 2 other features that you can enable, which is the low light image enhancement and the Ace priority at low light that helps stabilize the image when it's dark outside. You can take a look for yourself. Here is some footage from my Osmo Action 3 when I went riding at nighttime last year. Here is some footage with the same setting on my Osmo Action 4 taken this week. Pretty nice, right? Despite having a larger sensor, the camera weighs 145 grams, which is the lightest out of all its competitors as well. I mean, it's not a lot, but whatever weight you have, when you have it on your helmet like that and carrying it around on your head all day, it matters. Just in general size, I think the Osmo Action 4 is the most compact and smallest one out of them all. When it comes to the physical experience with the cameras, I think my favorite feature, I know my favorite feature, has to be the magnetic quick release, which just makes it so freaking easy to put them on and take them off. Not having to bother with these screws, taking them on and off and on and off and on and off. Whenever I park my bike to go into the store or something, I don't like leaving my camera gear on the bike because it's so easy just to grab by someone passing by. So it's just so easy to just take them off, put them in pockets and go into the store. It literally takes seconds. If you're not using the cage, you can even access the batteries from the side while still mounted. Yeah, it's so convenient. Just as like small annoyances that I used to have with other cameras. They have dual touchscreens, so you can manage the camera both for the front and back. So if your camera is already mounted somewhere, you can easily just manage everything in the front. And I also really like how the front of the camera gives you like a preview of what you're recording, just so you know that you're always in the frame, you're always capturing what you want to be capturing. The camera also has something that was highly requested now, the pre-recording. You can save up to 60 seconds of pre-recording for that footage. So let's say you're riding down the road and you get into a crash or you fall or something. Your camera was on but you weren't recording. As soon as you hit that record button, it will include the up to 1 minute of recording before you even push the button. Just making sure that you never miss anything. The only feature I wish was improved a little bit on this camera was the button, because it is very flat and that makes it hard to find with your gloves on. It makes it quite a bit easier if you have the cage on, because the button is bigger and higher here. But to work around that issue even more, you can easily just attach something on top of the button. Here I've used some like glue that hardens, or if you have a sticker or just something to glue on there so you can feel it a little bit better. So it's an easy workaround. Another very important feature and aspect of video is audio. It rarely matters how good your footage is if the audio is crap. No one's gonna want to listen to videos where the audio is just hurting your ears. The camera itself has 3 microphones, one on the top, in the front, and one hidden underneath. It has a wind noise reduction software and in general captures audio pretty well just out of the camera. Here are some examples. And this is the front camera with all the noise reduction within the camera itself turned off. Of course, riding down a highway where there's just wind blasting your cameras, there's going to be a lot of wind noise. Some deal with that with covering the microphone with some foam or something just to reduce the wind going straight into the microphones. Or, like I do most of the time, you can attach an external microphone to capture better audio. Having a microphone plugged in also meant the camera was no longer waterproof because you had to have the lid open here. But DJI has solved the problem. This is the new DJI Mic 2. The microphone itself has a whole bunch of different cool features, but the most important one is, with the DJI Osmo Action 4, you get the option to connect this one by Bluetooth, making audio 100% wireless. This combo right here, you guys, I don't know how you're supposed to beat it. And the fact that I can have everything on this one, just like that, with the magnets out there, so convenient. But this is the transmitter with minus 12 decibel. I'm very curious of how much wind noise the microphone is going to capture. If I can talk like in my normal voice and not having to scream to be heard. Is this too loud? And is this perhaps too low? I have learned from my mistakes by not bringing any backup solutions. So let's see how the DJI adapter with a Rode microphone that's more expensive and a really cheap like eBay kind of microphone to them works as well. How is this faring? Can I talk and still be heard? Can you hear the wind? I'm curious. Can I still talk and can you still hear me in the cheap microphone? Yeah, audio should no longer be an issue. I think it's easy to see why I've chosen these cameras. It has superior image quality with possibility for 10-bit on all footage now. It has the best battery life, that you can connect a microphone just by Bluetooth, making it completely wireless. It's lighter, it's smaller, and it's quite a bit cheaper. It has, in my opinion, the smartest and best physical features. I'm not sure why you would want to choose anything else. But that's my personal opinion and my experience with these. It just gives you such a tailored experience that you can really adjust your features and settings to your preferences. There's a whole lot more we could talk about with the nitty-gritty little details, but this is just overall hands-on first impression and experience with the most important features in my opinion. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will try to answer as best as I can. And I'm also curious to know which camera you are using, why you have chosen that camera, and if you are using Osmo Action cameras, what is your experience, positive, negatives, all of it, I want to hear it. Thank you for watching, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.